Welcome to this idiosyncratic episode of Talking Lamar. Today, I'm talking about a day on the beer truck, what it's like and what we do. Let's get to it.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Sorry, I forgot what I was talking about.
What are you talking about?
I am talking to you.
That's just what I was talking about.
It's Talking Lamar.
You know, the cool thing about being on the truck, and I was on the truck for a long time, every day was a different day. It was never the same day twice. I mean, you had a route and you went to the same places on Monday. You went to the same places on, you had your daily whatever, but it was still different. Something was different all the time. And on this particular day, I had met some guys at the Waffle House and I had a nutritious patty melt, bowl of chili, hash browns, scattered, smothered, peppered, and burnt. And I was feeling pretty good. I hit a couple of stops on my way up the road and got them squared away. So at this point, I've pulled into the Beeline convenience store in a little community outside of Chesney. And I get out of the truck, walk in, talk to the clerk for a few minutes, talk about whatever. And I go back to the cooler, check everything out. I wrote the order. So I go back out and I grab the hand trucks and I get ready to roll the beer in. So I unlock the handle. I'll explain this to you. On each side of the truck, driver's side and passenger side, I'm pulling a trailer, and the trailer has bays on it. And everybody's seen these kind of trucks, Coke trucks and, beer trucks, whatever. And so there's a rod that runs all the way down, and there's a handle. So when you pull that handle down, it locks all those bay doors so that they won't come up. And it keeps them down, it keeps them locked, keeps them secure. Okay. And the handle has got a key lock in it. You push it in, and it goes into a hole, and so you can't move the handle, so it's secure. So I unlock the handle, and then I flip it up to turn the bays loose on the trailer. And so I stacked me about 10 cases of beer on the hand truck, and there was a car parked beside the truck on that side, on the driver's side that I was on. And so, you just don't leave stuff open. There's some places you can be where you never lose sight of the truck and you could leave a bay door up as you empty that bay or whatever. But if you're going to lose sight of the truck, you need to secure it. So I went ahead and pulled the handle back down and locked the lock and everything. And so I grabbed the trucks, I leaned them back to roll it in, and I took a couple of steps and I hear this guy. He goes, hey, come here. I want to ask you something. I said, okay. So I walk over there. I set the stack of beer down on the ground. I walk over to the vehicle, and he's got the window rolled down, and he says, hey, can I get some samples? And he laughs. And he does this like he's the first person on the planet to ever come up with this phrase, can I get some samples? Well, let me go ahead and say, he is not the first person that has come up with this phrase, because at that point, I have been with 3 different beer companies, Schlitz and then Miller and now Budweiser, for probably over 25 years doing this. And I am positive that there has never been one day that at least once, and most of the time, many, many more times, sometimes it's at every place you go, I was asked for samples. And they all think this is original. And they think it's hilarious. It's like, it's the first time you've heard that, right? No, it's not. It's not the first time. It's not even the 1000th time. It's just crazy. And so I just, as I rocked back on the hand truck, said, sorry, brother, I'm fresh out. I headed into the store. So I'm keeping my eye on the truck because, this is not feeling really good to me. But I went ahead and set the beer down in the store, turned around and headed back out. I threw the handle up. So now I'm throwing some beer on the hand truck, and the guy gets out of the car and he said, hey man, can I trade you something for a 12-pack? And I said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, come here. So I walked back over to the driver's side of the car, and he's opened the back door. And I look back there, and there's a quilt laying across the seat, and there's a woman's head sticking out of it. And so she throws the quilt back and grins as big as she could. And this woman could eat a corn on the cob through a chain link fence. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, it was unbelievable. And listen, that meth diet that she was on, it was working wonders. And she was butt-ass naked. And I said, ain't nobody wanting to see that. So now the guy and the woman and the man in the passenger seat, they're dying laughing. And so I walked around to the other side of the truck, and I'm getting some beer off over there. And I had not pulled the handle down because I was going to have to go back and forth to, like a case on this side and a couple of cases on that side. So I'll go on the other side. And so, as I'm over there stacking the beer, I hear the car crank up. And I'm like, well, good. Let's get them. They'll be gone. That'd be great. So as I was getting a couple of more cases of beer, I hear a bay door on the opposite side of the truck go up. And I'm thinking, surely to goodness, these fools are not trying to steal beer off his truck. So I took off around the truck, and the guy in the passenger side was closing the door. I looked, the bay over the rear wheels is open. Best I can tell, I'm missing about 4 cases of Michelob Light 6-pack cans. So I run around to the driver's side of the car, and the window's down, and he's pulling the gear shift down into drive. So I dive in the window and reach across him, and I'm trying to reach the keys to cut the car off. Well, he starts driving, and he's picking up speed. I can't reach the keys, and as we're passing the gas pumps, I realize this ain't a movie. This ain't a TV show. I can see myself falling out the window into the road, or worse, fall into the back seat with that dang woman. So neither one of these are good for me. And so I pulled myself out of the window and jumped clear of the car, and I stumbled around. I didn't fall, but he took off. So I was able to get the tag number of the car as he's going out the parking lot. God, I was pissed. Oh my God. And this happens a few times over the years, and there's nothing that makes you. The worst thing is to walk out and the bay door's open, nobody's there, and you're done. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I've walked out and I've caught people. I have been on one side of the truck, and I hear the other side, somebody pulling on it, and it's jerking up and down, but it won't open because it's locked. And I walk around there, and they're trying to get in, and I say, "What the hell are you doing?" Well, nothing. I said, what do you mean nothing? Well, what are you doing? Well, I don't know. I thought I might grab a beer. What? What? You're going to break into something? People are stupid. They really are. And so this happens more often than it should. And so I run back into the store, and I get the store phone, and I call 911, and the dispatcher answered, and she said, what's your problem? I said, my name. I said, I work at Budweiser Spartanburg. And I said, some people have broke into my truck and stole some beer, and they've drove off. And so she said, well, can you tell me about the car? I said, yeah. I said, it's a beat up Chrysler Cordoba. I said, it's silver with a vinyl top. And I gave her the tag number. So she asked about the people in the car. And I said, well, the driver was male, maybe early 40s, Caucasian. I said, the passenger was another Caucasian male, late 50s, maybe early 60s. They had a passenger in the back seat. And the lady said, well, can you describe her? And I thought for a second. I said, well, I just got to be honest with you. She was the ugliest naked white woman I've ever seen in my life. And she says, what? I said, you heard what I said. She said, well, which direction were they traveling? I said, well, I'm in Mayo. I said, they're going on Highway 221 going towards Chesney. I said, that's the last I saw of them. So she got all my information. She told me somebody to be in touch. So I finished working the stop. And so I got paid, headed to the next stop. And so the guy that runs the store, he's an old guy, retired guy. We called him Pops. And when I pull up to the store, he is sitting in the window smoking. And he looks at me and he starts laughing. And so I get out of the car and I walk in. I said, Pop, what you laughing about? And he was still laughing. He said, man, I'm sitting here. I'm listening to this scanner. Nothing's going on. All of a sudden, I hear this call go out to the county cars reporting a robbery of a beer truck at the B line in Mayo. And he said, the woman said the perpetrators were driving a silver Chrysler Cordoba with a vinyl top. She gave the tag number, and she said the description of the occupants are as follows. Driver, Caucasian male, 40s. Passenger, Caucasian male, late 50s, early 60s. And a passenger in the back seat, quote, ugliest naked white woman the man had ever seen. and Pop said, about 30 seconds went by and the deputy came back on and said, can you repeat that last part? And the dispatcher said, that's what the guy said. Ugliest naked white woman he had ever seen. And so we had a pretty good laugh about it. And so I got a call the next day, and they had found him, and they had arrested him. And they told me I'd be contacted when they set a court date. And so it was probably, I don't know, a couple of months. I'd almost forgot about the whole thing. And I get a call, and they say the case has come up. It's going to be on such and such a time. Can you be there? And I said, oh, yeah, I'll be there. I've been there. So I went to court, and they were there. Well, the two guys was there. I don't know how the woman able to escape or what that deal was. I'm not sure.
They couldn't find any ID.
Well, they thought they could, but they didn't want to look for it. And so I sat there in the courtroom, and the judge called me up there, and he said, he read out what the situation was. He says, does that sound right to you? I said, yeah. And he said, can you identify the two people? And I said, yes, them two guys right there. And they pled guilty, and they got some jail time. I don't know if it was 30 days or something. I don't know. They got a little bit of jail time, and then they had to pay restitution to Budweiser for the stolen beer. So it was a banner day. And listen, don't get me wrong. Every day on the beer truck is not like that, because if it was, it would be a movie. But, there's always something going on. Always something going on.
That was a very interesting job in so many ways.
Yes.
Like when I sit here and think about it, and plus, one of the things I liked about being a pizza delivery person was that I was in my car thinking my own thoughts, being left alone.
Yes.
And except for the physical manual labor stuff, it seems like that was also what was happening for you on the
Great
beer
job.
truck. Like
Love the job.
You were
Love the
independent.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the job.
So how much did they offer you in exchange for the company of this woman?
A 12-pack of beer.
A 12-pack.
Is what they
she
said.
wasn't troubled that she was only worth a 12-pack? That didn't seem to bother her at all?
Well, I mean, that's four beers apiece. There's three of them. That's 4 beers apiece.
I know that seems to be awfully lowball.
Well, I wasn't going to haggle. I wasn't going to negotiate. I just wanted to get as far away from that situation as I could. But it is such a cool job, because you meet all kinds of people. I mean, all kinds of people.
And people are glad to see you coming too, right? Like,
yeah, they ain't nobody mad when you pull up.
Happy to see the beer man.
Yeah, they not. No, it's pretty cool. But it was. It's like, and you're right. It is hard work, but it keeps you in really great physical shape, because
I mean, you don't need the gym.
You're constantly moving. You're picking up. I mean, like a case of 40-ounce bottles. That's about 40 pounds, and you're grabbing that and handling it and picking it up. And so it's but the people, it's and I was never in a big hurry.
Maybe it's
so
just
I talk
like
to the people.
Maybe it's just the way like we're wired, but I think it's not so much that people don't want to work. It's that people don't want to be micromanaged and tormented and made to, do busy work. People are willing to work if they can have a little bit of autonomy and dignity, and out there cruising the byways in the Bud truck or the Miller truck or whatever.
Yeah.
It's work. It's going to be work from beginning to end. But a man could think his own thoughts, and be left the hell alone in between stops.
You had sales contests, right?
Yeah.
How many sales contests did you lose?
Never
None.
finished second. Never finished second.
So what would be involved with the sales contest? In other words, you're selling more to the.
Yeah. How do you win?
It goes to cases. It's they give you a quota, and not everybody would have the same quota, because different territories, like one territory might be a bigger territory than another. So what it would be was you would have a quota. And on some of them, there are all kinds of different contests, but you would have a quota, and it would be percentage. Like if you sold 12% over your quota and somebody else sold 10% over their quota, the cases could be completely different, but you've got a number that you've got to hit, and then you do the most over that. So
can I ask a question about that? I guess I was always under the assumption that the convenience store, the grocery store, whatever, would place an order for how much beer they wanted and you would deliver it. But you're in there selling them. Explain
Yeah.
how that works.
Now, they've changed it now. Now they have pre-salesmen in cars that drive out and make up the order. They send the order in on the computer to the warehouse, and then the warehouse pulls that order and puts it on the truck, and they put all of the order together. When I was on a truck, one bay would have Bud 12-pack cans. Another bay would have Bud Light 12-pack cans. Another bay would have, and then you'd have small bays that would be mixed up with different things. So you had a lot of different items, and you would go in, and I would make out the order. I would look and see what they needed, and because I worked them every week, I knew what they sold, and so I would make an order out for whatever to keep them from running out, and then I'd go get it off the truck. And at that point, I had an 18 bay truck. Now, most orders, any good sized convenience store or grocery store, you would open up every one of those bays at every stop. Well, now they figured out, and it's very smart, they figured out if you put a man in a car, he can sell 3 times as many stores as a person in a truck driving there, making the order and whatever. So now he's doing all that. Then you know exactly what's going on the truck, and you knew exactly what you're going to sell. So you will build pallets up, put them in the truck, and when they get to that stop, they open that bay and they pull it out and drop that bay. The trucks come in empty now. When I was on a truck, we would come in with, you'd have probably 30% of the beer you took out would be left on the truck because you don't know what you're selling. So you got to have enough on there so that you don't run out while you're out there. So this is way more efficient.
This is fascinating to me. So in addition to it being like really demanding physically as a job, it was also really demanding mentally and socially as a job too.
Yeah. And you were almost an independent operator. Now you weren't because you worked for the company, but here was the deal. They loaded the truck. You counted the truck in the morning. They counted the truck in the morning. You compared so that you both agree that's what's on the truck. When you get back at the end of the day, you count the truck in, they count the truck in. You got the same number, they got the same number. Whatever beer is gone, you got to have the money for it. I mean, it's up to you. If somebody steals that beer, then I got to pay for it. The company's not paying for it because the company I'm responsible because the company said, here, you've got 100 cases of beer. Do you agree? And I say, yeah. Okay. Well, whatever you don't bring back, I got to have my money for it. So you were basically, you weren't on your own, but you were on your own,
So when you won these competitions, tell Sheri the kinds of things you would win.
Oh, well, the prizes in the warehouses and stuff, that would mostly be cash. You'd win $500 or you'd win, something, it'd be $500 or $600, something like that. But I won a couple of national contests across the country, and I won a Harley Davidson motorcycle. I won a trip to float the Grand Canyon on a gourmet. It was a gourmet fishing trip in the Grand Canyon. We flew into Idaho and went to Hell's Canyon, and you go there, and they pick you up in a van and they drive you for like 3 or 4 hours, and you go on an Indian reservation, and they drop you there, and the guys that have the big float, you're gone for like 4 days, and so you've got 2 guys on each boat, and it's like a river raft, okay? And so you don't do anything. When you get to your location, they put up the tents, they set the camp, they cook the food, they do everything. I mean, you don't touch anything.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that trip. Is it as amazing as it seems?
Yes. Yes,
God,
it really was.
I knew it.
It really was. And we'd go through the rapids and stuff, and oh man, it was awesome. It was really awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And to be out, I mean, that's the only time I've ever really tent camped, I guess. And you're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, nowhere. And there were no facilities.
So many more
there were
stars.
No nothing. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So you must have been. You must have been bummed when you got promoted up to run the thing, because now you're not in that same situation.
I was not happy. I was not happy because, and I thought it was really going to be bad because I enjoyed being out. But because of the job that I had, I still had a bunch of autonomy, and I would still have to go out and whatever. So I wasn't just chained to a desk or anything. So that was pretty cool. But I never hated the truck. I never hated it. I enjoyed the truck. I mean, I really did.
Max, did you know all of that like the beer guys were selling the beer, and if you stole it from them, it came out of their pocket?
So the only reason that I knew any of this stuff is it would come up in conversation when he and I would get together to have dinner or something, and he would talk about that because I think you still had the Harley Davidson at that point.
Oh yeah, I did. And
then you said that you won that, and then you started telling me all the other stuff I won.
Yeah.
I said, wow, you're really motivated. Yeah. You said, and I remember you saying, I never lost a competition.
Never finished second.
They would do, and then at the warehouse with all the guys, they would do a weight loss thing. You never lost one of those either.
Oh, no.
Y'all would have diet contests at the beer warehouse?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody put a couple $100 in. Well, they only did it twice. After that, they wouldn't let me in, so it didn't matter.
Because I'd go, how you doing today? And he'd go, I'm eating broccoli florets all day.
Yeah. And I'd walk. I'd get off. Listen, I would go in the mornings before anybody else got there, and I would walk 4 miles in the morning at the warehouse, and then in the afternoon when I got off, I'd go walk another 4 miles. So I walked 8 miles a day, every day.
What was the prize that you were walking 8 miles a day and eating broccoli only? Like, what were you winning?
It was like I won about $600 one time, and I think I won $500 the last time.
Sheri, what he won wasn't important to him. Winning was important to him.
You are a competitor.
Very competitive.
Listen. I had this one deal. I had a guy there. That was somewhat of a smart ass, I guess. But I got in a contest with one guy. Me and this guy, one guy. And so this guy, the smart ass guy, he came up to me and he said, "You're not going to win that." And I said, "Well, I mean, we'll see." And he goes, "I got $100. I got $100 that says you do not win that." I said, "Okay." And so he goes, this guy, he says, and I talked to the guy, he goes, "He's betting on me. Now I'm under this kind of pressure." I said, "Well, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. I would go home at lunch. This is back when I lived in a duplex. I would go home at lunch. I would take a huge trash bag and I would punch a hole for my head and my arms, and I would tie the trash bag up. And I lived close to a park, and I would go run. I would go run like 3 miles with that trash bag
in a garbage bag.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, in the summertime.
I think that people would be listen, Lamar Richardson, did you know he was homeless? He's homeless. Yeah, I saw it. He's wearing a trash bag.
But I would run till I started seeing spots, and I'd come back to the house. And when I would tear the trash bag to take it off, I mean, it's sweat. I mean, it was just, oh yeah.
Doing something till you see spots is also how you know you've had enough butter on the popcorn at the movie theater.
Your body will tell you. You just got to listen to the body.
So I'm assuming that running in a trash bag till you saw spots, you won that one too.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I had listen. I did one with the whole YMCA, the entire YMCA, and and of course, I would go there when I got off of work, and I would get on the elliptical machine, and I would go for an hour and a half on the elliptical machine. Then I would get off of that. Then I would get on the treadmill. I'd go on the treadmill. And so the last couple of days, I was doing the same thing. The last day, I put on my winter coat. I put gloves on and a toboggan. And this is in July. And so I get on the treadmill. I get on the treadmill, and I went for probably I had to get about 5 miles on the treadmill. So then I went and sat in the sauna. I was set in the sauna, and I had Pat was with me that day because I told him, I said, if I pass out, I need you to, So I would get in the sauna, and when I would get so hot I could not take it another second, I would get out, I'd take a quick shower, and then I would go get in the pool. And the water pressure would push in on you. I had a lady tell me this. The water pressure of the pool would push in and make you go to the bathroom. So I would go pee, and I'd start this process all over again. And I quit drinking water the day before. So I'm not drinking any water. None. I'm not drinking any water. And so I did all this, and I went and weighed, and I still didn't feel too good about it. So I came back, and I did a couple of other miles and whatever, and then I would spit in the sink because I had a guy that used to be a wrestler. He told me that to make weight, he would spit in the sink, and he just keeps spitting because every time you spit, that's water. So I come home, and I'm getting ready to go to bed because we got to weigh in the next morning, and so Carla comes in and she goes, "Oh my God, what is wrong with you?" She said, "Your eyes are sunk back in your head." I said, "I'm fine. She said, "You need some water." I said, No. She said, "You got to drink some water." I said, No, I'm good. And so I go to bed, and she woke me up at 1:00 in the morning, and she said, "I can't go to sleep. You got to go in there and drink some water." So I went in there and drank a couple of sips of water. It's the only water I'd had in 24 hours. And so I got up the next morning. I took a shower. I went to work extra early. I did 3 more miles before we did. And so when I weighed in at the Y, this was a 3-month contest, and I had lost 67 pounds in 3 months. And I won the contest. The funny part about the contest was you got a few $100s for the contest. The bragging rights was the deal, but you got a few $100s for the contest. But they gave you, one of the things they gave you was 100. This makes no sense to me. They had this big whole thing about weight loss, and then as a winner, you got a gift card from Wade's Meat and 3 Vegetable Restaurant.
That's so good.
So when you would do this, what would be the first thing you would eat once the competition was over?
Bacon cheeseburger. Always.
Like after going through all of that and running in garbage bags and spitting your spit, weren't you worried that 3 bites into that bacon cheeseburger, you'd seize up and die from the shock of it?
No, I'm a professional. Listen, let me tell you something. I'll tell you this. I'll tell everybody this. Losing it is no problem. Keeping it off, there's your trick. And Max, you have done a phenomenal job of keeping it off.
Well,
has he not, Sheri?
Not as much as I would like.
Well,
you really have. Well, have you thought about wearing a garbage bag and running around and
Sheri,
spitting all the time?
You don't know that that's not what I'm doing right now. He would tell me, we would be on the phone, and he'd be like, I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm at the gym. I got to win this competition."
I get motivated now. Listen, there's no point in entering if you're not going to win. There's no point.
But were you not worried about putting your body in some kind of major shock that would cause you to have a heart attack or God knows what?
That's what I mean.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I let Carla worry about that. I didn't worry about it. I mean, ain't you both of us worrying about it? I mean, come on.
What an excellent frame of mind to have. Let Carla handle that. You've got other things to focus on. I'm envious.
See, he's not neurotic. He's not neurotic like we are.
He doesn't overthink things.
No.
He acts.
No.
And I was reading a really interesting thing. I'm going to do it on the show about.
It almost sounded like a cut, Sherry.
No.
He doesn't overthink things.
He doesn't overthink. Overthinking is the fastest path to depression and regret.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yes,
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't see Lamar doing that.
No.
He's like, you know what? Carla's worried enough about me walking around in a garbage bag and not eating or drinking. I'll use my brain for something else. That's
right.
That's amazing.
We both can't worry about it. So
That's amazing. Yeah.
So.
Okay. I mean, when you put it that way, it makes perfect sense. I can kind of get it.
The other trick to it is find out something that you can eat that works and eat the same thing every day.
And for you, that was
every day, no problem.
broccoli florets.
Well,
And then but not your saliva because you would spit that out. So just broccoli florets.
chicken omelets with broccoli and spinach. Chicken omelets
I've had
every day.
I've had a chicken and eggs on the same plate before, and it seemed like a
It seems
mockery to
weird.
the animal, doesn't
It
it?
does.
Hey,
Now-
chicken. Hey, watch this. I'm gonna eat you and your eggs. Like it just seems so aggressive.
No, I can't eat. Now, the Waffle House, you can get grilled chicken and scrambled eggs. For me, there's something wrong there. But the omelet situation, not so bad. I can put some chicken in an omelet. It's a little different. I don't know why that is, but with the spinach and all that stuff, that works.
Imagine you're a chicken and you live like in the woods behind the Waffle House, and you're pecking around one day and you glance up and there's Lamar sitting on the other side of the glass with some eggs and some chicken. If that doesn't feel like a serial killer sociopath, that is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's not a super common American thing, I don't think, eating chicken and eggs together.
No, it is odd. It is odd.
For one chicken, it's a contribution. For the other one, it's a real commitment.
Yeah, commitment.
Yeah. So,
That's exactly right.
So Lamar, do we need to have some contests here? So, because are you missing that? Are you missing having competitions?
No, I've got a lot of other things to worry about with this job. This job is a completely different situation. I don't have time to go walk 8 miles.
You don't have to worry
don't.
about losing weight. You're losing brain cells and sanity, right? So
Oh,
you're
God, that is the
definitely lighter
truth.
than when
Yeah.
you came in.
If they would make something that you could put it around your shoulders that would make a computer desk where I could walk with the computer, I could. But I got to spend all my time looking for content for listeners, so that we'll have something to tell them.
Yeah, it's true. You don't have, it would be good if once a week we had a beer truck to unload or something.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, so if you had to guesstimate just on the weight loss competitions, how many pounds over, like in your total contest career, would you say you've dropped? If you can guess that.
I've thought about this before. It's well over 300 pounds. Well over 300 pounds.
Holy cow.
Which is
So
great.
like a whole year.
Except I gained back 301. So, that's.
That's like a bigger thing than you are. Like you've lost more than you are.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You know how you can tell that it's difficult? It's difficult because one of the smartest women is Oprah Winfrey, and she has struggled with it. In fact, she was so committed, she bought Weight Watchers and still ended up on Ozempic.
Yeah.
It lets you know how difficult it is to maintain weight loss.
It is.
It is really hard. And
because I have a love
especially-
affair with food. I have a love affair.
Yeah.
with it. I love it. I love to cook it. I love to smell it. I love to eat it. It's good. It's good.
That's what I was going to say, especially for somebody like you, Lamar, because you're a foodie. And it's not just that you enjoy eating it. You like to think about it, cook it, strategize it. Like you like the whole thing. And it's hard to just have a diet of, vegetables and of things when you love food that much.
Yeah.
He loves winning more, though. Do you know that?
Oh no, it's true. It's very true. It's very true. I'm a very competitive person.
Because if he loved food more, he would say, "I'm not going to join that competition. I'd really rather eat."
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know why? Because he knows in his head that his suffering is temporary, and then he'll go back to his food. Like he makes that deal in his own head, don't you think?
Yeah. The food's always. Listen, food is always going to be there. It's not going anywhere. It's waiting right around the corner. It's whispering to me, "I'm still here. I'm still here."
I'm fine.
And the food says to me, "We know you'll be back. We know you'll be back. Go ahead and run a little bit. Go ahead. Yeah. Do all that. But you're coming back."
So
you always do.
When you'd be making a lap in your garbage bag, would you be thinking about all the things you were going to eat as soon as this nightmare was over? Like, or were you so faint that it was just all you could do to stay conscious?
All I do is talk to the whole time. I'm telling myself, got to go, got to keep going. Because I would stop in a minute, but one more step. That was my concentration. Because I hate doing it. I mean, I don't like it, but
So impressive, though. So impressive. You are what we call a champion.
He is.
He is. He's a champion.
He's like an Olympic athlete in some ways, right?
Yeah, just like it. Just like it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I added in some ways.
Yeah. I'm as much of an Olympic athlete as Snoop Dogg was when he was doing laps in that pool with him or whatever. Yeah.
You have the heart and the fortitude of a true champion. You're willing to do. See, that's the difference between a regular person and a champion. A champion is willing to take the pain and make the sacrifice.
There you go.
A true champion goes without food or water and runs in a garbage bag. That's a champion. You think just anybody can do that or would do that? No.
Or a nut. I don't know. Could just be a nut.
Wow. Well, I'm super impressed. So of all the things that you've won, I mean, I know the cash is gone and you sold the Harley. Do you have any like little trophies or plaques or anything hanging up in the house?
I got some plaques, but they're in a box somewhere. I mean, they're doing no good.
You're too modest to hang them, or Carla won't have it, which.
Yeah. She won't let me put one up.
Wow. Well, I think if people listening to this episode of Talking Lamar are going to have a newfound respect for you, Lamar. What do you think, Max?
I think so. I know.
Or they'll still be shaking their head. I don't know which one. All right. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for taking the time to listen. We really appreciate it because you could be doing a lot of other things. And we've had a great time. Hope you did. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell somebody else about the Talking Lamar podcast, and I'll appreciate it. Also, check out the True Weird Stuff podcast. It will blow your mind. There's more to come here, so don't stop now. As you know, I hate a quitter. Go to bobandsheri.com and look down at the bottom of the page. And no, that's the app. Go to the Bob and Sheri app and look at the bottom of the page. Hit that microphone and start talking. Leave us a message. Tell us what you think. If you want to give us a call, it's 844-52-SHERI and leave a message. Until then.